Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for the day, starting on the 3-day time frame for Bitcoin, because right now we are potentially about to close this 3-day candle above the 106.5k level. Looking back at this recent downtrend, we saw about an 11% move to the downside or so. Overall, I'm very satisfied with how we played this move to the downside. We identified this downtrend quite early. We're able to make a lot of trades inside this descending parallel channel. We even had this bear flag pattern that exactly hit our price target on the 1-hour time frame. The only thing that did not play ball for us here was this imbalance in the charts, which was sitting at around 98k in the Bitcoin price. As for this 1-day time frame, this right now is also looking pretty clear. Here we had a couple of lower highs and lower lows back to back, but right now you can see that we just formed this higher high in the Bitcoin price. So all that is left for us to do to really confirm this uptrend on the 1-day time frame once again is to simply get a higher low above this low right here at 101.5k, and that would confirm the new uptrend after we had this recent downtrend here. As far as support goes, we do have big support setting from 107 all the way down to 105k in the Bitcoin price, as well as this descending trend line, which is currently sitting at around 107k as well. Moving on to this 4-hour time frame, then this is pretty much playing ball exactly as expected. In my last video, we were in overbought territory here for Bitcoin. And as I pointed out in this video, usually when we are in overbought territory, there is limited room to the upside. So most likely we are either to see some choppy sideways price action or potentially even some short-term bearish momentum in order to reset that RSI back to the downside. And right now we have pretty much fully reset this RSI simply by the price trading sideways. So again, that is playing out exactly as expected. I do want to take a look at some Fibonacci levels here on the lower time frames, because for example on this 2-hour time frame we have this Fibonacci retracement from this wick high all the way down to this swing wick low, and right now you can see that we have some Fibonacci resistance around this 1 level sitting at 110.4k, and we have Fibonacci support sitting at the 0.786 at 108.2k roughly speaking. And something interesting happens if we take a look at the 1-hour time frame, where we again take a Fibonacci retracement from this wick low all the way up to this wick high. And here we have a Fibonacci level of resistance around that 110.7k. So basically around the same level as on that 2-hour time frame with a completely different Fibonacci level. And notice how we also have Fibonacci support sitting at the 0.236 Fibonacci level, which is also at the exact same level, 108.2k. So what does this mean for Bitcoin? Well, on the lower time frames, we are in a sideways range, as you can tell by this choppy sideways price action, of course. But if we now end up breaking down, for example, below this 108.2k level, then likely we are getting a short-term continuation to the downside. For example, down to this 0.382 Fibonacci level sitting at 106.7k, or basically along this descending trend line that I drew from these recent highs. And again, you can see something similar on this 2-hour time frame. Break down below, and from there we have that descending trend line once again that I talked about, as well as this Fibonacci golden pocket sitting between 106.9k and 106.6k. This is the critical level to hold for Bitcoin, and to hold above this descending trend line, which will be critical in the case we do really get a bit of a move to the downside, because then this could start to look like breakout, retest, resumption to the upside from there. So that is something that I am keeping an eye on. Overall, lately I've just been trading the much lower time frames, because we've just seen some crazy volatility on the lower time frames here. So this is personally what I've been paying the most attention to. But of course, that is not financial advice. I'm simply telling you what I'm seeing in the charts, and you can do with that information what you like. Moving on to the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. First of all, on this 24-hour time frame, we just took out a bunch of liquidity to the downside here, and there is still more liquidity around the 108k level. However, most of the liquidity is to the upside, sitting at 111.4k. And in the case that you don't know, guys, typically the Bitcoin price gets attracted to where there is the most liquidity on this chart, which is again right now to the upside on this time frame at least. Notice how if we zoom out to this 3-day time frame, we do have some liquidity to the upside, but the biggest pocket of liquidity is to the downside at the moment. So we have some conflicting signals on these lower time frames. Therefore, we continue to zoom out because overall, the higher time frame liquidity does have the most weight in terms of where the price is likely to go. On the 2-week time frame, it is pretty balanced at the moment. Therefore, we should take a look at the 1-year time frame where we have a bunch of liquidity still sitting at 111.3K as well as 112.6K. So basically just above these previous all-time highs. And notice how, yes, we do have liquidity to the downside as well, but currently we are potentially about to confirm a new uptrend on that daily time frame, and we are trading very close to these price levels as well. The RSI has now fully been reset, so it would not be crazy to see another move to the upside in order to take out tens of billions of dollars worth of short liquidations. Lastly, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin ETF flow tables. Yesterday and the day before, we saw some massive inflows of close to $400 million. On the 9th and then on the 10th, we saw over $400 million flowing into the Bitcoin ETFs in a single day of trading. So obviously right now we are seeing some massive inflows, which is having an upwards pressuring effect on the Bitcoin price. Either way, this has been today's market update. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.